What is going on, guys? Spartan D here. We're back for another Witch's Weapon video. And as you can see here, I have Raphi's super rare weapons. And what they do is they give you 39% chance to dodge. They do some decent damage. And when you dodge, you gain 3% of your HP equal to whichever one of the two stats is higher between your physical attack and your magical attack. Now, it is a weapon that you want to use not necessarily on a single target enemy unless they're one of these or one of these where you have a good chance to dodge. Rely on it? I would not say that you should unless you have a looper with you as well. Otherwise it's kind of not that good. In comparison to her rare weapon, it's not that good. Her rare weapon you can just use outright. Gives you some defense, lowers the enemy's defenses. So if we're saying, you know, between the two, which one I personally prefer, I prefer her rare weapon over this, but it's not to say that this is a bad weapon. Definitely not saying that. But what I am saying is the thing that I necessarily use is more tailored around her rare weapon. And there's not really an instance where you will want to necessarily use this weapon, in my case. Like, as you can see here, I haven't had a need to use Raphi's heal, her active heal. Not once. Like, with this core, you're not gonna lose any health. That's just fact. That's just the fact of the matter. Like, you just won't lose health. It is honestly pretty much impossible. To be perfectly honest, it's pretty impossible. I don't see an instance where you would lose health, provided that you're doing things correctly, which you should be. But yeah, this is a showcase video for her weapon. It's just not. It's really not an instance where I can utilize it here. So what we're gonna do after this is set up an ideal scenario where Raphi's super rare weapons are at their peak in terms of usefulness. Here we hold rid of her. Here we're just gonna silence her. I suppose here is a good place to try. Here we're just gonna heal. I want to meet the threshold. Wasn't sure if that would be the end or not. Don't want to take any chances. As you can see, this team already has its star components, and Raphi's super rare weapons don't really feel any holes in the team. If anything, it just creates one, which is pretty funny. Here, we're gonna stun her. Can't get damage off. And switch to Rise weapon. There we go. Simple. There's no content that this team falls short in. It's just not. I gotta be honest, like there's really just nothing that this team can't do. It's really good. It's a really good team. Here, I don't think we've done this one. No, we have not. Okay, so which one are we gonna swap out? I really don't want to swap out Beatrice. She has such good utility, man. But so does Ray. What is an ideal setup for her? This should be fine. Let's go ahead and equip these. Alright. So I'm gonna set it up to where we're fighting an elite. I'm gonna use Luca and her Thunder Pulses. And you might be wondering, if you aren't privy to what the Luca's Thunder Pulses do, they give you stacks of dodge, and upon switch out, when you have enough, so let's start it here. As you can see in the top left corner, my dodge rate is increasing, and it is at its max right now. So we're gonna swap out, and those dodge stacks will they will stay on. They will stay on for as long as you need them to. Like until you start getting hit. So you can keep it stacked up. You can just continuously stack it. Alright, here's the instance where we can go ahead and get this dodge chance up. So right now we have 100% in chance to dodge. But the issue is, if you run out of MP, you will not gain the bonuses. So we'll be mindful of that. Always keep that in mind. See there, we dodged, but we're at full. Continuously dodging, you see the green number pop up, that means we're healing. Here, we're just gonna dispatch her. That elite right there, easily one of the most troublesome, I'm sure, that people, you know, they see it and they're like, oh great, this one. Almost forgot Luca and her ulti. Her ulti is actually pretty useful. It's really good utility. Like really, really good utility. Here we go again with this one. This is actually a really good... I'm gonna pop her with this. Swap over to this. The reason being is she should activate her... I have to let her get over here. She's not, I let her get out of the corner because I was expecting... I guess she's just not going to use it then, huh? That's unfortunate. That's actually the best case And she usually uses her active. For whatever reason, she just did not use it there. Really weird. She should use hers after a while. Let's smack her. Use your active? We're dodging. We're healing. We're dodging. As you can see, it's really unreliable. It's really unreliable. Well, especially like the enemy is just adamant on not using active skills. Imagine that, right? Showcasing a weapon where dodge is amazing and the enemy is just like, no, no. Like, come on, man, I'm making a video. Don't you want to, you know, try and no, no, no. I like you today. But, bro, I'm done. I just, no, no, no. Let's try this one. Maybe we'll, you know, maybe we'll be able to get it to activate. Maybe we'll be able to get the enemies to, you know, play ball and actually attack us. So it's a good weapon. And it would not be doing this low of damage. I just have her weapon level lag literally 0. So it's going to do nothing. See, I swapped out and I was able to heal. There I was able to heal again. Swapped out. He's just not able to hit me. They're gonna hit. They're gonna attack. See, there we go. We got it. We got the showcases a little bit right there. Aluka actually has some really. She has a really nice arsenal. Like, apart from her SSR, like, it doesn't have to be the SSR for it to be insane, which is amazing. As you can see, doing quite a bit there. Here we have a good chance to dodge. We're dodging quite a bit. You see we're healing quite a bit right there. And then we're just gonna end it. Basically full health. One dodge for the road. One dodge for the road. Ah. We ran out. Okay. There we go. Back out. Swap back out. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, 4. And then we can't dodge anymore. Pop it in, we dodge. Pop it in, we dodge. Pretty good, right? We're just gonna get rid of her. We're getting rid of this one. You see, we silenced them. A lot of DPS here. We're just gonna let this mount up. Boom. Massive heal. Correct. Nice dodges. GG. They're good. They are good. When you set her up correctly, they are quite nice. But you do have to set them up. And this shouldn't be too difficult for you to acquire. In terms of Aluka's Thunder Pulses, what will be somewhat difficult depending on your pulls will be Raphilias. What is the name of them? Veluryiam. It's Veluryiam something. It always... Yeah, Veluryiam, excuse me. Veluryiam dancers. Her Veluryiam dancers are, for all intents and purposes, pretty darn good. Just make sure that you have the correct scenario for them to shine. And you'll do well. So, what you want to do, you just want to run Aluka and Rafi as a core. Just run them as a core. You really won't regret it. Here I'm going to, because I plan to invest in Aluka anyway. So I don't mind doing this. Just a little bit. Gotta be able to do something. I don't recommend that anyone does this, by the way. Don't use your supplies early on. Like, when you're later into the game where these really don't matter that much, like you really don't need as many as I have. It's okay to do this. But again, I don't recommend it. If you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. Simply don't do it. Also, you would want to upgrade them before doing so. Sometimes. Actually, no, you don't. Yeah, you'd have 3 less. So here, we're just gonna upgrade her. Upgraded her simply because the normal attack speed decrease is really good on her. You do not need like SSR level to, you know, do magic, make magic happen with Aluka. She is incredible on her own. Also, if you guys haven't already, on the weekends, specifically on the weekend, Friday, this Dawn shop will appear. And if there is anything in this shop that you want, depending on, it's random by the way, you may get something that you absolutely need and this was right on time, or you may not. It's like straight up just random. All of it is random. So there's no way to really, you know, oh, I'm going to get this, oh, I'm going to get that. The only ones that are more or less definitive are the upgrade materials. Everything else is more or less you're not able to get. So these right here, these start materials, it stays relatively the same for the most part. Some of them change. Some of them are literally the same every time. I really haven't seen much difference in the items that appear in here. The only ones that really change, like completely, is this tab, the Severe tab. So keep an eye out on the materials here. You might find something that you need. So keep that in mind. We're just gonna go ahead and hop into this. One more instance of them being really good. Now this is normally the team that I run in here, and it handles it very well. We, however, are going to do something a little bit different. So hopefully this goes well. It should go well simply because I have Beatrice and Monica, just in case anything goes awry, which it shouldn't. Like, it should be perfectly fine. Should be no issue whatsoever. This one's a pretty good, this right here is a good instance of using the ability to dodge. Stack it up. Just top ourselves off. No reason not to. Let's get rid of her. We get our stacks back. Go. Papa Luca's ultimate. I think we dodged a few of those actually. We're gonna dodge the explosion partially. The weapon broke right at the moment where we were, you know, basically going to dodge, but get our dodge back up. There we go. We're gonna silence her to get her out of here. Easy. But as you can see, you really don't want to use this as your means to, oh hey look, we got some more materials. You don't want to use it as your means of, you know, healing. You know, it's not. Please do not use it as a main source of healing. You will be sorely disappointed. There are much better options. There are much better options. It's not to say that it's bad, it's just not nearly as reliable. Say someone like Claudia. Like, Claudia has a ton of utility, and through taking her MP to the bottom, you're able to heal passively based on your attack, I believe it is. Attack or magic attack, whichever one is higher. You just passively heal. So you could do that instead if you want. It's pretty good. Gives you get quite a bit more utility in the team. It's pretty good. As you can see, this is pretty much a free-to-play team right here. Outside of her SR, this is basically a free-to-play team. You're going to get a Claudia at some point in time through your pools. If you don't, I just consider you like incredibly unlucky. Monica, you can get through the free pools, the unlimited pools that you get chapter 1-4, or her banner is up at the at this time of making the video, so you can get it there. As you can see, I'm doing quite a bit more damage. It's quite nice having Claudia. Claudia is just a real nice addition to any team. Honestly, Claudia is good to invest in. She gives you crit. She gives you passive healing. She gives you a ton of utility. You'll see what I mean here in a second. See this chick? Stunned. So we can use this time to replenish this up. Swap back. She was going to use a... You see, she was going to use an ability. This is the power of Beatrice. Please invest in Beatrice. She's just insane. Honestly, Beatrice is just insane. The more time that you allow for Claudia's... The more time you allow Claudia, her MP, to recharge, the more the crit stacks, but it resets when you swap weapons. So be mindful of that. So we're just gonna swap out. Get the stun off. And we'll just dispatch her. Last phase. You can honestly not even invest a single bit into Claudia. And you can simply just use her. You can simply just use her for her passive, her abilities. Heal up. Stun them. Wombo combo. GG. You see how long we keep that up? As long as you're switching, you can keep Claudia's buffs up for the entire remainder of the fight. And she just helps with damage output. She gives you crit stacks. And the more the MP charges, the more of those you get, the higher chance you are able to crit. Quite nice. Quite nice, honestly. It's really good. So you have options, man. You have a ton of options. She's really good. Let's see what her passive is, because I don't necessarily remember what Claudia's passive is. It might be really good, actually. Let's see. So her passive. Yeah, yep. So her passive gives you damage over time, pretty much. Like every time you activate her time stop, you get stacks of suffocation every second. Anytime you perform an action, the stacks are consumed and they deal the square of the stacks consumed multiplied by 14 of your total magic attack. So it stacks up to 10 times. You want to use this in a magic team, which I basically had right there. The more magic you have in the team, the better that is. You don't necessarily have to invest in that though, if you don't want to. But if you're going to have her on the team and you use her quite a bit, it's okay to invest in her. It's up to you, honestly. I don't know if I would, but that's entirely up to you guys. But that is the Veluryiam dancers. My final analysis is they're good, they're not great. Even when you set it up to essentially be, you know, pretty darn good, it's just one of those weapons where you have fun using them. It's not necessarily something that you should go in with high expectations for. Simply because there are unavoidable attacks in this game, which makes it so dodge isn't as good as it could be. If you could dodge those unavoidable attacks, then yes, this would be phenomenal, and you would get tons of ticks in terms of healing. And as you saw in the video, that's not the case. So again, it's not a very reliable source in terms of healing, not even in a sense of dodging. 39% is relatively high, but again, it's not reliable, just like the healing isn't reliable. It's just something fun that you can throw on. And they do magic damage. Your normal attacks deal magic damage, 33% of your total magic attack. So they're pretty good on a magic team. Make sure you run this on a magic team to get as much damage output as you possibly can, because you certainly aren't using it for the heals. If anything, you'd be using it for the dodge and in unison with Aluka and her thunder pulses. Just to show you guys really quick before I end this video, the thunder pulses, there you go, as you can see. And as you saw in the video, in the top right, there were stacks. And once it reaches the maximum, which does take a bit of time, but not too much, they're pretty good. It's good because it also reduces the attack speed of whoever you're hitting by 7% for 5 seconds, and it stacks up to 4 times as well. So you can lower your target attack speed by 28 since it's constantly stacking. And by the time you switch, it should be at 28%, which, you know, in hindsight, that doesn't really seem like the greatest thing if you think about it, because you want the enemy to be able to attack you a lot, and this kind of takes away from that, in the sense of if there's only one enemy, it's not as good. But if there are multiple small enemies, that's usually the type of scenario that you would use it in. Like a bunch of trash mobs around you and there's like one elite, you would attack the elite, let the smaller ones attack you, switch to Raphilias, Veluryiam dancers, and allow them to passively heal you while the attack speed reduction is active. And I would say to get into the habit of counting 4 seconds, including the window in which you're not able to switch, which I believe is about 2 seconds. So once the full rotation has gone in which you're not able to swap weapons, I would say, you know, count like a second and a half, get into the habit of doing that, swap back to refresh the stacks, because by then you should have some of your dodge stacks depleted, and the stacks of the attack speed reduction you want to keep on there. 28% is a decent amount. It's definitely not a small amount. It's pretty good, but that's what I would recommend for Rafi and her Veluryiam dancers. All around solid, just needs a little bit of support in order for it to have its full function. But with that being said, if you guys have any questions for me, you can reach me at the official Discord, which is weapon at Spartan D. It'll be in the link. It'll be in the description below. If you have any questions about teams that you might want to build, just general questions about the game, really, I'll be more than happy to assist you in that. I'm very approachable, so yeah, feel free to ask me there, or just in my comment section. I'll be more than happy to facilitate you guys in any questions that you might have. But with that being said, love you all much, and I will see you all next time.